Hello, guys. The next question for today. It is said that without private role, education can't occur. But at the same time, privatization contrarily affects the education sector, society, and monetary development of India. Discuss. So we have to discuss about the both the positives and negatives of private role in education sector. Our introduction can be: the commercialization of education brings in a financial aspect, of course, thereby affecting millions of families. So, if we commercialize education, it will financially affect many parents and also students. With modernization and globalization, the attitude towards teaching and learning has also impacted. So the modernization and globalization, it has reached even the education sector, and it has its own impact. So now, need for private role in education. Why we need private role in education sector? First, retreat of public spending. For example, our government, it spends only 3% of its GDP, which is less than the proposed 6%. So private sector can help increase the spending for education sector, and then improve the quality of education with the well trained and recruited teachers, labs and infrastructure. And then growing importance of industry academia linkages. For example, if we link the industry with academia, it will lead to innovation in technology and science, which is again helpful for the nation. Channelizing private philanthropy. For example, many people, even from private sector, they want to do philanthropical activity, and if they do it in education, it will help our nation a lot in skilling the youth and children. Bring fresh thinking in education. So these are some of the positives of bringing private sector into education. Then now, what are the challenges of privatization? First, exclusionary education. Wider choices to affluent and rich students. So it provides wider choice only to the rich and affluent people, and it majorly affect the vulnerable sections of the society. Then commercialization, of course, it leads to economic exploitation of many parents. And then inefficient regulation, centralized with poor outreach to federal states. So education being centralized in many states, we can feel the poor outreach. Example, corruption within UGC, AACTE, etc. And then negative perception. Conflicting objective raises doubt about feasibility. So there is also a negative perception that there is this conflicting objective which raises doubt about the feasibility. And then black money, generation in the name of trust or society, that is not for profit. These are some of the negatives of education sector. Now, what is the way ahead? What is the way forward? We need a comprehensive policy with clear and decisive policy on investment in higher education institution. So there is a need for comprehensive policy. And then regulatory environment. Public and private need to work together to ensure standards are being met. So there is a need for some regulatory environment or institution or some agency. And then establish CSR cells in schools and university. So this CSR, corporate social responsibility cell, is also needed. And then non-monetary support to students in the form of scholarship and financial aid programs to the talented and also socially and educationally backward family students. So how can we conclude? CSR funding and private philanthropy can help underprivileged students. True. Also, privatization must ensure healthy competition and equality and standards in education. So there is a need to raise the standard. How can we do? By healthy competition. by the private sector. This can improve our education quality and standards. Thank you.